Hey, Ronnie. Thank you for joining this call. As I was talking to you last week, you were telling me what happened last 3 months. And, what is striking me because I read all the news and I think your industry, restaurant industry is hardest hit by Corona and even the near future, what will happen. I can't even imagine what went through your mind and how you are surviving. And tell me about your new product also.
Sure. Shadway, thank you for doing this. I think it's an interesting time, and I think we're all in the process of reinventing ourselves. I think my beard is one such example that I'm starting with. Uh, but it's been a crazy journey. I think when the news hit that we will be shut completely, um, no more in-house dining, I think it took me almost a week to even figure out what to do, and I was searching for answers, but there wasn't really a rule book that I could have followed. There's been never a situation like this. And I realized very quickly it's not my life alone that's about to be impacted. It's every single person in my companies. So if we start looking across the board, there's well over 100 employees um, across 3 restaurants. We were in the middle of building out another one, and this is one challenge that I guess I was just not prepared for, maybe mentally. And I kept on thinking, like, okay, we all go through a lot and we all always face different challenges, but this really caught me off guard. And not only was it because it was challenging, the fact that things were moving and changing so fast that before you could really come up with a plan, that plan was obsolete. Then you have to come up with something else. And at the same time, you have to think of how your business will survive, how the people that are relying and depending on you, what answers will you have for them when I don't really have answers myself. So I think um, it was tough. And I think it was tough from a family, personal, professional, all angles.
So,
But
what did you do though, Ronnie? Like, I know that you initially started with delivering, food to people, and then I really like the idea that you reinvent your business and launch a new product. Can you tell a little bit about that? And
sure,
I'm going to share the screen and show what you showed me before. Go ahead.
sure. We, as I jump into Biryani Bowl, I think we as entrepreneurs, we are entrepreneurs because we have the ability to constantly reinvent. And that's what we do under normal circumstances. Here's a moment where we all had to jump in, all hands on deck, and really do something different. So first line of thinking was, how do we survive? How do we help others? And how do we come up with ideas that can continue to impact us the next 6 months to a year and a half down the road? So I'm really looking at the next 12 to 18 months and trying to project that if there are no significant changes in the industry and it still continues, then what changes can I make to adapt to that? Um, we kept our delivery and takeout business going. We never actually shut that because I felt that the community needed that support. People were looking for food. There were not really very, very many options, and it was challenging, but thanks to the team that I have in place, it helped. Number two, we started doing meals for hospitals. We tied up with the World Central Kitchen. We tied up with the Rethink Food and a few other really amazing organizations that really started to change the dynamics, and people started to be busy again. It felt that we all had a purpose. We were fighting for something. We were not sitting back and feeling like the whole world is crumbling on our heads, but here we are trying to lift it, even if it's by an inch. And I think for my team and I, it was extremely motivating. But then came the next option of thinking, okay, what happens next? How do we look ahead for the next 12 or 18 months and try to see how consumer behavior will change and what can we do about it? So we launched on the idea called Biryani Bowl. It's the website that you were just sharing. Biryani Bowl is a simple idea. It's what ramen has done for Korean food, um, is what I think biryani can do for South Asian Indian food. And I think because it's a whole meal in a bowl, what we're not trying to do is we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, except we have been, funnily enough, Chef has been doing research on this for the last 5 to 7 years, actually, other than his class, because The plan was our restaurant that we're opening named Dhamaka in the Lower East Side was not supposed to be a restaurant. It was supposed to be a kiosk serving biryanis just like this. But when we went to the city, who's our landlord, they said, we think you guys should take over this restaurant space if you're interested and you can apply. And we're like, but we did. And there was a restaurant. So this idea didn't happen at that time. And whenever we thought of this idea, we always thought of it going retail first. We had to change our strategy and go upside down and saying, no, it has to be, how do we reach consumers at home and retail last almost? So we really had to turn around our whole strategy practically upside down. The goal is, how can we provide you the real version of a biryani? Not the version, there's a big confusion there. The biryani that we have in most restaurants are not really a biryani. What makes a biryani what it is versus a fried rice is the fact that it happens in a format called dum cooked, which is a steaming option where you actually create different layers within a pot and then you steam it within its own vapor that's coming out of it. And that's how the cooking really happens. Without it, you can't really call it biryani. So most of the market that we're seeing is not really the real version of biryani. It's all using the spices, but it's missing the last link. And that's what we wanted to bring together and see how can we now take it and enable people to finish that piece at home. So we do all the hard work, reaches your home, you put it in your oven, out it comes within about 45 minutes, and you have the freshest, the most honest version of biryani that you might have ever tasted.
You did not change direction completely, but you just improvised your restaurant idea too. That's great to hear. One of the other thing I just want to ask you, my last question would be, honestly, as an entrepreneur, I know I have known you for so long. I know that you came from technology sector to a restaurant business, completely 360-degree change. And now this time, testing time, I felt it when April 15th, around that time, I could not sleep for days, nights. The reason is that I was scared. I was really scared that what is going to happen about the future, how I'm going to handle this business and all these 150 employees we have it. What was going through your mind and how did you come with all this energy? What did you personally feel and how did you keep going with this business? I know that you've been super motivated in the last few months actually when I've been talking to you. What did you do actually? What did you do to keep yourself motivated?
I was actually writing about this not a few weeks ago, and I remember waking up every morning with this massive dilemma that by me going outside, am I putting myself, my team, harm's way? I had a huge battle internally. One was the health of the business, the other was health for myself and our team. And for some odd reason, and I didn't know, I didn't really have a clear answer in the first couple of weeks, I'll be honest with you. I was struggling with that. That's a really interesting question you asked, because I kept on thinking I'm wrong. I kept on thinking I'm doing something wrong, that I should just listen to what the whole world is doing, shut our doors, and just crawl back under the blanket and be comfortable and forget about everything else happening and turn on the TV when everything is better again. And I realized I kept on going back to the idea of why we started this. People don't start restaurants to get rich overnight. People start restaurants because they believe there's a sense of purpose to serve people around you. There's plenty of ways. If you want to get quick, rich kind of a scheme, this is definitely not that route. And I went back to the original idea as to what motivated me to start that. And it was about serving others. So today, at a moment when our community, the people around us, our team, needs everyone to provide that service, how can I hide away? So to me, that every single time that argument won me over. And I would wake up, I would talk to everyone in the house. I'm like, and everyone would tell me, that's okay, you don't have to go, you don't have to worry about it. And I made sure I personally went. I did, because I didn't want to personally be at home while I asked the people of my team to come up. That's not okay. That's not, forget the word leadership. That's not okay to be even a team member. How can I ask anyone to do that? So I think the challenge was a huge personal battle, and then finding a way to continue to do what we always set out to do. And I believe that we're always going to get tested. Today it's through COVID, then it's through protests and riots and things that are happening. The world is constantly going to change around us. But if our intentions, motivations are so quickly changing, then there's a deeper problem. And I just didn't want to compromise on that.
Thank you, Roni. It's very nice to hear from you, and definitely good luck with Biryani Bowl and all of your restaurant. And thank you for motivating all of us around you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
for
a lot.
sharing our voices. Thank you, Shad.